بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. I begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I ask Him to send His peace and His blessings upon the last messenger, the last prophet, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family members, his companions, and all of those who followed his way of life. And I greet you all with the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Dear brothers and sisters, first of all, I find the opportunity to thank the organizers of this great event, the Imam of the Masjid, the Imam of the community, Sheikh Wathiq, the board members of this community who are very active and inshallah will take this community to the next level. And I thank all of you who came here tonight for two main purposes. And both of these purposes have great rewards. The main purpose, which is gathering to commemorate, to think, to reflect upon the best of humankind, the teacher of humankind, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And also the second reason, which has a lot of rewards, is to help this community build the center for you and the future generations who are about to come. So this way Islam can live in this land and can inherit in this land with your blessings. Brothers and sisters, I want to only reflect a little bit upon the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and bring his teachings alive today with you. You know very well that in the world nowadays, Muslims, they have become the victims all over in Muslim countries, and even here living in the United States and in the Western world. Muslims are being most talked about, and in some places the most oppressed people nowadays. While they're going through these difficulties, a lot of them, they choose the option to be reactionary instead of finding the solution, working towards solution. And we want to see how the Prophet ﷺ dealt with his situation at his time. When somebody has a major problem, the rest of the family or the rest of the society is looking at that person simply because he has a major problem. It is the same thing with Muslims nowadays. People and societies are pointing the finger at them. And the whole world is looking at us, at how we behave. They're looking at us, how we are going to react. What are we going to choose as an answer? How we're going to battle with extremities that we see from each side. We see extremities from the Muslim world. We see extreme people, but at the same time we see extremities from the non-Muslims who are blaming Islam and Muslims, pointing the finger at them. And the whole world is looking at us, how we react. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرِ. You have the best example in the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for those who wish to be with God and for those who wish to be in paradise in the hereafter. We have to reflect upon his life in order to learn on how to act, how to answer, how to establish ourselves, our communities, how to live in peace and harmony with people who are around us. And the best example, as I mentioned, is the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, Rasulullah was not a reactionary person. He was a man of word and work, because the Quran was his guide. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لِمَ تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ O you who believe. You with me? O you who believe. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لِمَ تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ Why are you saying things that you do not do yourselves? You claim to be followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but there is a big gap between you and Rasulullah. You claim to love Quran and follow the Sunnah, but you are so far away from the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah. So then why are you claiming such a thing? Why are you claiming that? لِمَ تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ كَبُرَ مَقْتًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَن تَقُولُوا مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ It is undesirable, disliked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say things that you don't do yourselves. So now, brothers and sisters, let's see how he reacted when he was in the battle of Uhud. There is a hadith that is narrated to us by Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and it is transmitted in the book of Muslim, Sahih Muslim. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam is bleeding in the battle of Uhud. A lot of the companions are martyred already, laying down on the ground, waiting for paradise. And the other companions who are alive, they are wounded and bleeding, including the master of the humankind, Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. And at that point, where there is a great loss, the companions, they're telling to Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, Ud'u Allah ala al-mushrikeen. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be against these mushriks, to take revenge upon these mushriks who have caused Prophet to bleed from his face and to lose his teeth. Now, everybody would agree, right? They're going through difficulties. They're going through losing people, lives right and left. Islam is in jeopardy. They don't know what's going to happen after 5 minutes. There is a chance that they may kill the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they're saying, "Oh Prophet," in other words, they're saying, "We have no power. Please ask Allah to take revenge upon these people." And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam responds by saying, "Inni lam ub'ath la'anan, innama bu'ithtu rahmatan." Listen to this. I was not sent as somebody who is going to curse the people. I was sent as a mercy. I was sent as a mercy. So my job is not to curse the people, is not to curse even my enemies, but my job is to be merciful. In other words, my job is to forgive. My job is to forgive. Even your own enemy. And we know, brothers and sisters, that the highest rank of justice is not retaliation, but it is forgiveness. The lower rank of justice is retaliation. Al-aynu bil-ayn. The eye for an eye, was-sinnu bis-sin, and the teeth for a teeth. Yes, but the highest rank is forgiveness, is mercy. Inna Allah ya'muru bil-'adl وَالْإِحْسَانِ. Allah commands for justice. If it's necessary to retaliate, you retaliate. But after this, there is another interesting word that comes right after, وَالْإِحْسَانِ. Not only retaliation, not only justice, but also good, to be merciful, to be kind, compassion. He commands for compassion as well. So remember that. It's not only about getting back to the people, retaliating, reactionary, but also it is forgiveness, merciful, compassion. And that is the highest degree of justice. That is the best value and the best ethic that Prophet ﷺ possessed and commanded all of us to possess. Indeed, there are great teachings for all of us to learn from the life of Rasulullah ﷺ. And I will end it with this one. I will end with this other hadith that is narrated in the book of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, in Musnad of Imam Ahmad. He says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that no wealth is decreased because of charity. No wealth is decreased because of charity. So when you give something, that wealth doesn't get decreased. The opposite, it increases. And then the hadith continues. For those people who forgive, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to elevate them up high on the day of judgment. They have high ranks with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Pay attention, it does not say those who go back and they retaliate. But it says those who forgive. When do you forgive? You forgive when somebody does something wrong to you. You have no need of forgiving somebody who has not caused any harm to you. Look at the connection between the first part of the hadith with the second part of the hadith. No money is decreased because of the charity. And those who forgive the others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to raise them up in high ranks. What is this? Brothers and sisters, when we give, a lot of people think that the moment you give, your money is going away. Don't think that way, because there is somebody else behind who is increasing it. Even though in your eyes it may seem that it's being decreased, but the reality is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is back, He is going to increase it. And the person who is forgiven, it doesn't mean that he is showing a sign of weakness. It doesn't mean that he's showing a sign of weakness. Because this is what we deal with a lot of times. When somebody does something wrong to us, we want to retaliate. Why? Because we want to show the manhood. We are man. We get back to the people. No, no, no. If you are able to forgive, Allah is going to raise you up. So He's comparing the sadaqah, He's comparing it to the afu. He's comparing it to forgiveness. So forgive the people, even though it may seem as weakness, but actually it is a part of manhood. This is the true teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So brothers and sisters, to conclude this, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who is going through these difficult times, to be able to forgive. And whenever it's necessary to retaliate, retaliate. But overall, forgive. Be a people of compassion. Be people of wisdom, of hikmah. Be people of peace. As our Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was. And I ask Allah to bless this community, the leaders of this community, to achieve these beautiful goals that you guys have, and to give these new generations a true and sound future ahead. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
بارك الله فيك. أحسنت يا شيخ.